When people ask, what happens after we die, they're asking one of the oldest questions in human history. Every culture has tried to answer it. Every religion has its own beliefs. Every family has its own stories. But today, we're taking a different approach. We're not asking what people believe. We're asking something simpler. What do we actually know? Science has learned a surprising amount about what happens in the final moments of life. At the same time, there are still mysteries that nobody, not scientists, not doctors, not philosophers, has been able to fully explain. This video is for informational purposes only. It is not intended to promote or reject any religious or spiritual belief. Instead, we'll explore what researchers have discovered, where the evidence ends, and where the mystery begins. Let's begin. Imagine someone peacefully taking their final breath. To everyone around them, it looks like everything simply stops, but inside the body, an incredible sequence of events is unfolding. The heart no longer pumps blood. Within seconds, oxygen delivery to the brain stops. Without oxygen, brain cells begin running out of energy. Yet death isn't an instant on-off switch. It's more like a series of systems gradually shutting down. Some organs stop working almost immediately. Others continue functioning for several minutes. Some individual cells remain alive for hours. Hair doesn't keep growing. Nails don't continue growing. That's actually an illusion caused by the skin slowly drying and shrinking. Even after life ends, the body continues changing. The brain is often considered the most mysterious organ during death. For years, scientists believed the brain simply became inactive. But modern research has revealed something unexpected. In some patients and laboratory studies, scientists have observed brief bursts of organized brain activity shortly after the heart stops. Some researchers compare it to a final surge of electrical communication. Why does this happen? No one knows for certain. It could simply be the brain's final attempt to organize itself as oxygen disappears, or it may just be a natural biological process. Either way, these brief signals don't prove consciousness continues. They simply show that the brain doesn't shut off all at once. Nature is often more gradual than we imagine. This leads to one of the most fascinating subjects in medicine: near-death experiences. Around the world, thousands of people who were clinically dead for a short time and later revived have described unusual experiences. Some report moving through darkness toward a bright light. Others describe feeling peaceful. Some say they watched doctors working on their body from above. Others remember meeting loved ones. Interestingly, these experiences appear across many cultures, but they are not identical. People often interpret them through their own background and beliefs. Scientists have proposed several possible explanations: a brain running low on oxygen, changes in carbon dioxide levels, the release of certain natural chemicals, unusual activity in regions responsible for vision and memory. Yet none of these explanations fully accounts for every reported experience. Researchers continue studying this topic carefully. The important point is this: near-death experiences are real experiences reported by real people, but what causes them remains an open scientific question. Another surprising fact is that hearing may be one of the last senses to fade. Some hospital studies suggest that people who appear completely unconscious may still process sounds for a short time. Researchers have measured brain responses indicating that some patients may still recognize voices. This is one reason doctors and nurses often encourage family members to continue speaking calmly to a loved one during their final moments. No one knows exactly how much they can hear, but many experts believe comforting words may still matter. Sometimes, even when no response is visible, many people assume death happens at one exact moment. Medicine tells a more complicated story. Doctors distinguish between clinical death and biological death. Clinical death begins when breathing and heartbeat stop. In some cases, CPR or advanced medical care can restart the heart. Biological death occurs later, when damage to organs, especially the brain, becomes irreversible. This distinction has saved countless lives. Someone whose heart has stopped isn't always beyond help. Modern medicine has shown that under the right conditions, people can sometimes be revived after several minutes without a heartbeat, especially if treatment begins quickly. As the body loses oxygen, other changes begin. The muscles gradually relax. Body temperature slowly decreases until it matches the surrounding environment. Blood is no longer circulating and settles into the lower parts of the body because of gravity. Eventually, the muscles temporarily become stiff in a process called rigor mortis. Hours later, even that stiffness fades. These are all natural biological processes. The body follows the same laws of nature that govern it throughout life. But here's where the biggest mystery begins. What about consciousness? Scientists understand a great deal about how the brain creates thoughts, memories, emotions, and awareness, but they still don't fully understand consciousness itself. How does a collection of billions of nerve cells produce the experience of being you? This question remains one of the greatest unsolved problems in neuroscience. If we don't completely understand consciousness during life, it's even harder to explain what happens to it when life ends. Some researchers believe consciousness ends when brain activity permanently stops. Others argue that we simply don't have enough evidence to make a final conclusion. At this point, science remains cautious. It acknowledges what is known, and it admits what is still unknown. Interestingly, our fear of death may actually have helped humans survive. Over thousands of years, our brains evolved to avoid danger. Fear encouraged our ancestors to escape predators, avoid risky situations, and protect their families. In many ways, fearing death is a normal survival mechanism. But psychologists have also found something hopeful. Many people who have come close to death report appreciating life more afterward. They often become less focused on possessions and more focused on relationships, more grateful for ordinary moments, more aware that time is limited. Sometimes, thinking about death helps people understand life more clearly. Here's another fascinating fact. Almost every atom in your body has existed for billions of years. The oxygen you breathe, the calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood. Many of these atoms were forged inside ancient stars long before Earth even existed. Throughout your lifetime, your body constantly exchanges atoms with the world around you. You inhale them, you eat them, you release them again. In that sense, nature is constantly recycling itself. Life is part of an enormous cycle that has continued for billions of years. Perhaps that's one reason humans have always searched for meaning. Every civilization has asked the same question, not just what happens after death, but what should we do before it? Science may explain many biological processes. It can measure heartbeats, brain waves, cells, chemistry. But questions about purpose, meaning, hope, and what gives life value belong to every individual. Each person must explore those answers for themselves. So, what happens when we die? The body gradually shuts down through a remarkable series of biological changes. The brain continues functioning briefly before eventually becoming inactive. Some people report extraordinary near-death experiences that science continues to investigate. Researchers still don't fully understand consciousness, and beyond that point, no one can honestly claim to know with certainty. Perhaps the most truthful answer is also the simplest. We know far more today than our ancestors ever did. Yet the greatest mystery remains unsolved, and maybe that mystery is part of what makes life so precious. Because knowing our time is limited often reminds us to live more fully today, to love more deeply, to forgive more quickly, to appreciate ordinary moments, and to make the time we have truly matter. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. It presents current scientific understanding and does not promote, reject, or evaluate any religious, spiritual, or philosophical beliefs about death or the afterlife. If you enjoyed this video and would like to explore more fascinating questions, about the human mind, body, and life itself, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with others. And in the comments below, tell us, what question about life or death do you think science will answer next?